Mob Trap here, and today we're gonna talk about the episode 3 of The Witcher, Betrayer Moon. Okay, so sit down, get a tea, and let's talk about it. So the episode starts a little bit slow with kind of a voiceover of a kid. I would say he's like 20, 25 years old, and then he's telling a history about uh, in my opinion, he's telling history about werewolves, and according to him, his mom used to tell him that in order to them kind of born, a wolf need to pass by a grave of a pregnant woman who died. So this way, the baby would start growing and would become the werewolf. So while he's telling the history, the camera starts panning down, and we can see his face, and then sees a little bit wound. So at the beginning, make you believe that he's sick or something like that. Then the camera keeps moving to his chest, where you can see like imagine the three claws of a dog or something in his chest. Then that's how during this the camera pans out to the back of the room with kind of a shadow, but we can see the necklace and that he's smoking. And you can see it's a Witcher. So the Witcher steps forward, the kid keeps telling the history, and the kid ends up for asking the Witcher to kill the monster. And the Witcher comes out and says that will cost 3,000 money for what they consider money in the history to kill the beast. The father of the kid gets a pouch of probably money and slaps on the Witcher's chest. So when the father after the father slapping the money in the guy's chest, he looks to his son and you see that he's dead. So there's a scream, and then it cuts to the Witcher walking in kind of a snowy street with some dead bodies. Notice that the first Witcher, the beginning of the episode, is not Geralt, is another one. So he's walking, he's following a trail of blood, then trail of blood leads him inside of a house. Imagine a butcher's house, there's a bunch of dead pigs that are being hanged. So he goes inside, he removes his sword, then he's looking for the monster. So while he's looking, you see a shadow moving very fast around him, and then he's trying to follow the sound. Then he do this for a few seconds, then he looks back. In my opinion, he's trying to run away because it's showing him as he's being scary of whatever was there. But at the moment that he turns back and gives a step forward, he's attacked and killed by the monster. So end of the first feature. Then we cut to Geralt. Now Geralt is kind of inside of a room with a woman that sells her body for money. And they're talking, and the woman starts doing a few things that Geralt doesn't feel comfortable. Not putting his finger on his butt because I'm pretty sure he would like that. But something involving his scars, and then she gets kind of angry, and then they have a small discussion, and she remembers because she thinks he knows that another Witcher came by to kill the monster, but he didn't kill him and run away because she thinks that the other witch stole from them. Geralt asks the direction, but the moment that he starts talking to the woman, I think the manager from the place where they are having sex, in fact, knocking the door, he doesn't stop. I don't know why, because he knocking once is okay. But anyway, they have a discussion, and he managed to figure out the direction, the name of the location. Then he pays the woman, and then he cuts for a few minutes later where he's preparing a few things from Roach. And in front of the place where the Roach is, there's the manager, I believe. And then Geralt turns out the guy says, take care of Roach, I'll be back in a few days. And the guy goes to respond, I don't fear you, Witcher. And Geralt do the old Geralt do. But anyway, uh, it cuts and you see Geralt go in direction to the place, and then it cuts, and then in the trailer is the title from the episode, like the trailer, or not the trailer, but the. Then we see Geralt after he goes to the direction of to the place, and then it cuts off Geralt inside of a mine where he's having a small rebellion. The first part doesn't matter, but the father of the dead kid at the beginning, he pretty much starts talking, and then Geralt responds to him, saying that he's angry because his son is dead, and the king did anything, so now he wants to kill the king. So they respond hostile against the Geralt because he's a witcher, and they think that the witcher before him stole their money. And Geralt replies that he only gets payment after, and for a third of the price, because the first one stole got 3,000, and Geralt is only asking for 1,000. After they have a small discussion, a few guards appeared, and with kind of an old general, let's say, he starts explaining to the miners that are trying to have a rebellion to go home and relax. And there's a small kind of confrontation between the guy that lost his kid and the main guard. And there is a small confrontation, and then the miners they go away. So Witcher and the guard they have a little pep talk, like 10 seconds, and then it's shown that then it cuts to the Witcher being escorted out of the city by two guards. After that, they're walking in a snowy road during the night, and then the two guards in horses they just they pass out. I don't know, they pass out so somehow. But then Geralt unsheathes his sword, and then he's looking around and he sees a witch. This witch is pretty much the king's witch, kind of a helper, something like that. And then she explains Geralt that she wants to. Explains Geralt that she's also after the monster, but she doesn't want to kill the monster. She wants to help because the monster is the son or daughter of the princess that's this king's sister. So they have a little bit of talk. They go to a place where the witch is pretty much like a place where the witch lives, and then they have a talk. So after that, after the witch shows her place, she goes in kind of a moratorium or something like that with a bunch of dead bodies, and show the witcher all the dead bodies that killed that the monster killed, and it shows him the dead witcher. And what Garrett pretty much figures out is that the people think that the witcher ran away with the money because the witch doesn't want them to realize that the monster managed to kill a witcher, because they think the witchers are the most powerful demons and stuff like that. Geralt takes away the witcher's necklace, and then he starts excavating the place where the witcher is, because he's kind of in a burial ground, but with a bunch of snow or sand, I believe it's sand. And Geralt realizes that's missing his heart and kidney, or liver, no, it's heart and liver. Then Geralt realizes not any type of monster, is the result of a curse. And I forgot the name of the monster, but this monster can only be girls, can only be females. So then it cuts to Yennefer having sex with the tall black guy. This scene is not important, so I'm gonna jump it up a little bit. Then after they had the sex, it's shown that she's talking to flamboyant guy that's supposed to dress the girls for the ceremony. They talk a little bit, he managed to show and choose a dress for her, and then the Master Witch comes and talks a little bit about Yennefer. This seems kind of minor in the episode, so it's for real. So then it jumps to the first witch that works to the king with the king, bringing Garrett to talk with the king. There is a bunch of discussion because one person want to kill the thing. The king doesn't want to do anything. Garrett wants to know who the father is. There's a bunch of things, and the king dispenses everybody. So they leave, but Garrett managed to throw everybody away and lock himself inside of the diner place along with the king. So they talk. The king, Garrett pretty much threatens the king. The king tells him certain stuff that's minor, and not minor, but in the context of the video is minor. And then he tells Garrett to leave. Then after the scene, it cuts for almost a reunion with the master witch, the one that's turning Yennefer, discussing a little bit about where to send the girls, the place that did the bus, but this part is kind of necessary. What's important at the master witch, she wants to send the Yennefer to a king that from for her birthplace, and then they have a discussion saying that another king needs her the most, and then they pretty much manage to outsmart the master witch because the king that she pretends to send Yennefer doesn't like elves, and Yennefer is a quarter elf. So after this, instead of deciding for say they decide to go to a vote, and pretty much what happens after this, it goes forward in the future where the flamboyant guy goes to Yennefer, gets the older dress, the one that they chose for her, and give her a red one. And then she asks why, and then it cuts to her going to talk with the Master Witch. And she's saying that she got reassigned to another king. And there's a small discussion, Yennefer saying that the witch got defeated, and then she's saying, Yennefer saying that it's her fault. And then the Master Witch comes out to say that it's actually Yennefer's fault because she's quarter blood elvish. And pretty much it ends here. So after that scene, it cuts to Geralt kind of stalking the place where the monster is. And the guy is the princess, the girl. I don't know. It's an old castle. It's said at the beginning, but that's not important. So there's two guards on the door, and then Geralt is staring at them. And sometimes there's some sounds coming from the castle that's kind of scaring the guards, but they are still in place. So Geralt's looking at them, and then the witch that works for the king gets behind of Geralt and asks him why he's trying to save the girl, because he could have just gone away. And he asked her first. And in response to that, she says that someone as legendary as you could have found thousands of ways to get inside already. So he gets a rock. He looks at her and just strolls to the castle, and that scares the two guards away. So in the next scene, it's them both inside of the castle looking for some clues. Very skilled thing. And then they get inside of a bedroom, let's just say, it's a bedroom. And they both start looking around. The witch, she goes to a music box, start playing a little bit, and then later she managed to find a secret entrance, no, a secret place thing that has some letters inside. She calls Geralt, and Geralt, when he's going that direction, he stops, he looks at the bed, and then he smells something. Then we cut to a little bit forward on time. You know the old general from the beginning in the mines. So they are talking to him, and they are asking him about the letter. The letter's pretty much saying that she was. It's some things that the king's sister wrote about the king and her having a kind of a case, And they ask who could have killed her, and then the guy said that the king probably is the one who did it. And they all say, oh, that. And then Garrett comes out and say, you may be right, except that I smelled you there. And then he asked, what do you mean? And he said that he smelled the guy, an old and a new smell, as if he was there. And they pretty much keep pressuring him, and then he tells what he did. He's the one who cursed and killed the woman. And Garrett did what he did always. He one-liner reversed the curse, and the guy said no. And no, Garrett, he beat slapped him, passing him out. Then after that, we cut to kind of a ceremonial part of the witch's process of becoming a witch, I think. And Yennefer's not there. You see the tall black guy that Yennefer is having sex mentally talk with another witch, and it cuts a little bit to later when you can see Yennefer inside of the cave writing something, and the tall black guy comes and asks her what she's doing, and she says that she is trying to forge a letter of her father saying that he is actually her birth father. Yeah. So they have a discussion. The tall black guy pretty much says that he loves her, and she denies that, saying that the life with him would be stupid. And they have another discussion, and she storms out angry. So he tells her that what she wants is to be pretty. She lost that chance, and she says what she wants is power. The guy responds that doesn't matter how much power she has, she wants power of beauty she has. She won't feel as if she deserves it. Then we cut, and we see Yennefer walking towards the flamboyant guy. And on this scene, what we get is she asked him to fix her, and he says, "No, they're gonna kill me." And she says, "Well, they already took your head." So pretty much that scene cuts there. Then later we pretty much cut to Geralt going at night to the castle to try to save the girl monster. And we see that in front of the castle there are a bunch of soldiers. And Geralt puts his things down, he sacks his sword, everybody do the same, and then the king says stop and comes from the back asking, pretty much he asks Geralt if he can save her, and he says that he doesn't know. Geralt gives him kind of an ornament saying that, and he says that if he doesn't survive, that's a gift. We see Yennefer talking with the guy, pretty much starting the ritual. After that, he says that in order to get herself reborn, she needs to give something, and that she won't be able to pretty much have kids, and she says okay. And then the ceremony starts. Then it cuts back to Geralt inside of the castle looking through a window. Then it cuts to the old guy that Geralt had knocked down, that he's pretty much tied up to the bedroom. And Geralt, they have a talk. Geralt makes him confess the curse, what curse he used. And then he pretty much tells Geralt. No, actually, Geralt realizes that he's gonna have to fight the monster until the morning. That's okay. So Geralt take a drink, the drink that makes his eye black, and then he goes away in the castle, because at the moment that he says that, we realize that the monster leaves his sarcophagus or something like that. It's a place where they're buried. And then the guy screams that he can't let him there because he can't let a man in a place like that with a monster. Then Garrett says that he's not a man. So this scene, this part is the one that started going full 100. Is that um, I want to spoil the fight scene because I like it. So yeah. Anyway, what happens is the Geralt finds the monster not before the monster managed to kill the guy. The monster came, killed the guy, then he starts kind of walking through the castle kind of weirdly because like if the monster knows the castle from the inside out, he's like, oh, just walking. And then he meets the Geralt at the end of the stairs. The monster's in the top, the Geralt's at the end. And Geralt has kind of a chain made of probably silver. He starts doing it, rolling it, and throws the monster. It spins around the monster, starts kind of frying it, but the monster managed to escape. Yennefer is doing the ritual with the guy, and it shows him removing her uterus and throwing it in kind of a pan in the fire. Then it cuts for a few seconds later, we remove the thing that's pretty much carbonized, and then he starts grinding it. And he makes kind of an ink, and he starts painting her. Then it cuts to Geralt in the fight scene that I won't spoil because it's very good. You guys need to watch it. Probably watch it because I'm doing this thing very late. But anyway, it cuts her and shows her suffering. And something I forget, the reason why she's kind of screaming, suffering like that, is because the guy tried to prepare the herbs to help her, but she denied. So that's pretty much showing how painful the thing it is. And then it cuts back to Geralt, then it cuts back to her, and this thing happens. And we show the transformation of Yennefer. So it cuts to Geralt. That's the part where he managed to pretty much isolate the monster in kind of the catacombs of the castle. And what happens is he managed to wake before the monster, so he goes to the door and he puts a spell that will prevent the monster from running away. Then he looks back and he sees that the monster isn't the ground anymore. So he goes slowly walking, and the monster tries to surprise attack Geralt and manage it. And when Geralt thinks, it's framed like Geralt's pretty much like, I'm fucking dead, dude. And what happens is the morning starts, or something like that. Morning starts, that's how I say it, but anyway. And then the monster look at it and realizes, oh shit, I need to hide. And Geralt knows that he can't let the monster hide in the darkness, because if that happens, the curse won't be broken. Anyway, what happens is Geralt and the monster start running to the sarcophagus where the monster came from, but Geralt manages to win the run and gets inside of the sarcophagus, and then he puts a spell, the same spell on the top that prevents the monster from getting inside. Then it cuts to Yennefer, and it goes to the aftermath of Yennefer being transformed. It shows her pretty much being, how can I say, pretty. That's why she wants to be pretty. And I think she's not part Elvish anymore. I don't know. But anyway, it's shown her going to kind of a place where we're having a party. And going direction to the king that she was promised before, but then was denied, taking the spot from another girl. This girl, her she's a niece of the guy that was in the council that pretty much made Yennefer change kings. But anyway, it shows that Yennefer managed to steal the king. The other girl gets the gun away, and it shows the guy looking at Yennefer very angrily. Then it cuts to pretty much Geralt leaving the catacombs, and then he going and seeing a girl on the ground. So what happens is that the curse was broken, and Garrett's go to touch the girl, but she kind of still part monster, so she managed to scratch him and bite his neck. And then we see Garrett kind of suffering in the ground for a little bit, and then we cut. Later, we see that the first witch from the beginning of the thing managed to save him. And then there is kind of a talk between them, and he wakes up. He asks for the money, and then the witch comes out. You know the scene from the trailer where someone asks him, "Monsters and money is everything," and he says, "Everything to be." So that's the scene. So she gives him. She gives him a pouch of money. Oops. She gives him a pot of money, and inside of this pot of money there is the same ornament, the ornament that he gave to the king as a gift in case if he dies. And that's the end of the scene. And then on here, the entire plot line on this episode with Yennefer and Geralt is done, and it's shown a short, I don't know, part with City. She's kind of sleeping in the snow on the ground. Then she starts hearing some voices, and she stands up. She turns back, starts walking towards the forest. So a little time later, the little small black elf kid, he wakes up and then he starts chasing her to, I don't know, save her. For some reason, he starts going screaming after her. She can't hear. It's like if she's possessed or something like that. So he's running after her, and then from the forest, someone shoots an arrow at him. Uh, it's not shown who did this, but the kid he keeps running after her, and then someone shoots another arrow on him, but this time hits him in the shoulder. He falls down, and then we finish the episode with a shot of City getting inside of the forest, and then that's the end of the episode. Um, yeah, this episode was very cool. It's different from the first and the second one because now the things start going up, starts rolling. Um, okay, as I'm posting a lot of things about The Witcher. I'm trying to find something else, but everything that I want to do, everybody else did, so fuck it. I have a rant about the TV show, so next week maybe you guys gonna see it. Um, Thank you for the time. Have a good day, good night, good afternoon. The next time when I don't know, curse a newborn child. Peace.